Long before African novels were taught in universities or debated on literary panels, Thomas Mofolo was already writing fiction, quietly, thoughtfully, and against the expectations of his time. Mofolo was born in 1876 in what is now Lesotho, in a colonial world shaped by missionary control. African storytelling was assumed to belong to the oral realm, while serious literature was expected to come from Europe. Mofolo disagreed. Working as a teacher and proofreader at a missionary press, he began writing novels in Sesotho, drawing on African history, oral tradition, and moral philosophy. In 1907, he published Moeti Oa Bochabela, Traveler to the East, widely regarded as the first novel written by an African man. The novel follows Fekisi, a young man who leaves his morally troubled village to journey east in search of truth and God. Part spiritual quest, part social critique, the story blends African storytelling with Christian allegory and is often compared to Pilgrim's Progress. More importantly, it marked a turning point. African interior life had entered the novel form. That achievement alone would secure Mofolo's place in history. But he didn't stop there. In 1910, he published Pitseng, a richly layered novel exploring the tension between Basotho customs, Christianity, and modern life. Through love, education, and community change, Mofolo argued that Boto, African humanism, should be the foundation of faith and modernity, while quietly critiquing colonial hypocrisy. Then came his most famous work, Chaka, a powerful fictionalized biography of Shaka Zulu. Written earlier but published later, Chaka examined ambition, violence, destiny, and power with psychological depth and tragic force. It proved that African history could carry philosophical weight. What makes Mofolo historically important is not just that he wrote first, but that he wrote on African terms, in an African language, for African readers, during an era that doubted African intellectual authority. Disillusioned by criticism and lack of support, Mofolo eventually withdrew from literary life. He died in 1948, long before African literature gained global recognition. Yet everything that followed, Achebe, Ngugi, Nwapa, rests on a foundation he helped lay. Thomas Mofolo reminds us that African literature did not begin by imitation. It began by insisting that African lives, histories, and imaginations were worthy of the novel.